Welcome to ULA's live coverage of this evening's Atlas V launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. At Space Launch Complex 3 East, the Atlas V is fueled and ready to launch the NRO L-39 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
Range, go for launch. Roger, go for launch.
T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Atlas engine ignition.
Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
Good evening. I'm Matt Donovan, and I'll be your commentator for tonight's launch. Later in tonight's broadcast, you'll be hearing the voice of Marty Malinowski as he provides us with launch vehicle ascent data. Tonight's countdown is currently at T-minus 8 minutes, 39 seconds and counting. In a few minutes, we will enter a planned hold, which will allow launch conductor Mark Levesque and his team time to conduct final systems checks before the launch countdown resumes. At this point, we remain on schedule for launch at 11:14:30 p.m. Standard Time. At the request of our customer, tonight's live coverage will conclude following confirmation of payload fairing jettison, which will occur approximately 3.5 minutes after liftoff.
RF link.
As I mentioned earlier, this Atlas V rocket is carrying the NRO L-39 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. This is the 8th Atlas V flight for the NRO and the 5th from Vandenberg. The NRO is a joint organization engaged in the research and development, acquisition, launch and operation of overhead reconnaissance systems necessary to meet the needs of the intelligence community and the Department of Defense. The NRO's mission is to provide innovative overhead intelligence systems for national security. The NRO is recognized for its transformational intelligence collection systems that are used to develop highly accurate military targeting data, support international peacekeeping and humanitarian relief operations, and to assess the impact of natural disasters. Recently, the launch team received a final weather briefing and was told that the weather is within the launch commit criteria for tonight's liftoff. The overall probability of violating launch constraints is 0%. Ground winds are currently 7 knots out of the northeast, and the temperature is 42 degrees Fahrenheit. So the team is go for liftoff with a T0 planned for 11:14:30 p.m. Pacific Time. NRO L-39 is the 5th mission to launch on an Atlas V 501 configuration and the 42nd Atlas V launch since the inaugural flight in 2002. The Atlas V launch vehicle is produced in Decatur, Alabama and Harlingen, Texas. It is comprised of a common core booster powered by the NPO Energomash RD-180 engine and the Centaur second stage powered by the Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10A engine. The NRO L-39 payload is encapsulated within the Ruag-built 5-meter diameter payload fairing that protects it during ascent. On November 19th, the encapsulated payload fairing was mated to the launch vehicle. The launch countdown began a little over 4 hours ago with rollback of the mobile service tower. The MST is moved approximately 250 feet southeast of the launch vehicle. The rocket stands approximately 196 feet tall, or about 20 stories, and weighs around 76,000 pounds. When fully fueled, it weighs more than 750 57,000 pounds. This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes, 21 seconds and counting. The launch team will soon enter a planned 10-minute built-in hold. Again, this hold allows the launch team time to address any final tasks. However, at this point, the team is not working any issues and liftoff remains on schedule.
T-minus 4 minutes and holding. This is a programmed
And we have just
10-minute
entered the planned 10-minute hold. While the team completes final preparations for launch, let's have a look at a preview of tonight's flight.
The following profile details the important events of this launch using approximate times.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the RD-180 engine roars to life and liftoff!
The Atlas RD-180 main engine ignites to lift the vehicle away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, Atlas begins its initial pitch, yaw, and roll maneuvers to attain the proper ascent profile and minimize aerodynamic loads. At 58 seconds into flight, the vehicle begins a zero angle of attack flight through maximum dynamic pressure. At 89 seconds, the vehicle experiences maximum dynamic pressure. The Atlas V is now traveling at Mach 1, the speed of sound. At 90 seconds of flight, the RD-180 engine is throttled down to 95%. The payload fairing is jettisoned 3 minutes 35 seconds into the mission.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. In addition to the NRO L-39 payload, we have partnered with the National Reconnaissance Office to utilize the Aft Bulkhead Carrier, or ABC, to deliver smaller auxiliary CubeSats to orbit. Capitalizing on the performance of the Atlas V vehicle, the ABC, carrying the GEMSAT payload, is mounted on the Centaur. GEMSAT, which is short for the Government Experimental Multi-Satellite, consists of 12 CubeSats developed under sponsorship of the NRO and NASA. This innovative program enables hands-on experiences, proof of concept demonstrations, and increases in the readiness level of emerging technologies. The CubeSats for tonight's launch were developed by the Aerospace Corporation, the Air Force Institute of Technology, the Army, Montana State University, California Polytechnic State University, the University of Michigan, and Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York. The CubeSats will be deployed using systems developed by Cal Poly and the Naval Postgraduate School. These CubeSats will test and validate new technologies for debris mitigation, propulsion, space weather, communication, on-orbit data processing, and the use of commercially available components. ULA is excited to have this opportunity to further the quest for knowledge, peace, and freedom with this capability.
L minus
This is
10 minutes.
Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes in holding. We remain in the planned 10-minute built-in hold as preparations for the launch continue, and at this point in the countdown, all items are nominal and we are proceeding towards liftoff.
L minus 9 minutes, 30 seconds.
SE transfer spacecraft to internal power.
Roger. L.
LC switch to ready position. All steps are complete prior to the status check.
At this point, we remain in the planned 10-minute built-in hold as preparations continue. In a few moments, launch conductor Mark Levesque will poll the launch team for the final go to pick up the countdown. 29 engineers and managers will be polled for system status and readiness to proceed with the launch. This is the final status check before launch for all Atlas vehicle systems, ground systems, payload, and the U.S. Air Force Western Range. The readiness poll includes hydraulics, pad water deluge systems, electrical systems, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. Let's listen as Mark Levesque performs the final polling of the launch team.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur systems, propulsion.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Has gas.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
Instrumentation.
Go.
Com. Go. Timer.
Go.
GC cube.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch director.
Launch vehicle is ready to launch.
Mission director.
You have permission to launch.
Roger. T0 is planned for 07:14:30. Set count to start at 07:10:30.
Roger. T0 is set for 07:14:30 Zulu. Count will start at 07:10:30 Zulu.
Roger.
At this point, polling is complete and the launch team has given the go for launch. The countdown will resume approximately 1.5 minutes from now. From T-minus 4 minutes until launch, you will be listening to launch conductor Mark Levesque and his team performing the final steps in the countdown procedure. At T-minus 3 minutes, the team will secure Atlas LO2 topping. At T-minus 2 minutes, the team will transfer the Atlas and Centaur stages from ground facility power to internal battery power. At T-minus 1 minute 55 seconds, the team will command the launch sequencer to start, followed shortly by securing the Centaur LH2 and LO2 topping activity. At T-minus 1 minute 40 seconds, the team will command the flight control system to launch enable and arm the flight termination system. At T-minus 40 seconds, the Atlas tanks will be verified at flight pressures, followed by verification of the Centaur tank pressures at T-minus 30 seconds. A final status check of Atlas, Centaur, and NROL 39 readiness is conducted at T-minus 25 seconds. At T-minus 3 seconds, the RD-180 main engine will roar to life.
4 minutes and counting. 3, 2, 1, mark. 3:55.
Ground power is enabled.
The countdown clock has resumed and we are go for launch.
Three minutes.
Securing LO2 topping. Atlas tanks to flight pressure.
2:50.
FTS internal.
T-minus 2 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. The countdown is on track as we proceed toward T0.
One 1:59. 1:55.
Launch sequencer start.
1:50.
Securing Centaur LH2.
Securing Centaur LO2.
1:40.
Launch enabled.
1:37.
FTS armed.
T-minus 90 seconds and counting. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and western range are go for launch.
1:20.
FCS count started.
1:15.
Reduce ECS for launch.
Roger.
1:10.
Vent valves locked.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Report range status.
Rock range is green.
40.
Stable at step 3.
T-minus 30 seconds.
28.
ECS ready for launch.
Roger. Status
25.
check.
Go Atlas. Go Centaur.
Go L39.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Well, you have RD-180 ignition and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket carrying the NROL L39 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
RD-180 engine operation looks very good. Booster PU is in control.
You are hearing the voice of Marty Malinowski providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Pitch program has begun. Body rates look very good. RD-180 engine is operating within parameters. Pump speeds look good. Injector pressures are nominal. Booster is now flying a zero angle attack phase of flight. Body rates look good. Currently at an altitude of 4 miles, downrange distance 0.4 miles. Current velocity is 1,023 miles per hour. Mach 1. Max Q. Boosters throttled back, right on schedule. Engine response looks good. Coming up on our alpha bias steering phase of flight. Body rates continue to look good, controlling right down the middle. Tank pressures are stable. And we have begun the alpha bias steering portion of flight. Vehicle response looks very good. RD-180 injector pressures are within band. Pump speeds look good. Centaur fuel tank has been vented down. Pressure decay looks good. And we fired the RCS pyro valve. That system's pressurizing flight levels. Signatures look good. Currently accelerating at 2.9 Gs. Current altitude is 39 miles. Downrange distance 29 miles. Velocity 3,235 miles per hour. Booster has begun the throttle back. Engine response looks good. Coming up on payload fairing jettison momentarily. And we have indication of the payload fairing separation. Looks like good sep. And CFLR deck jettison.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T plus 3 minutes, 53 seconds into today's mission. We've just seen the successful liftoff of the Atlas V carrying the NRO L39 payload for the National Reconnaissance Office. Liftoff occurred at 11:14:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'd like to thank Marty Malinowski for his support of tonight's broadcast. At the request of our customer, this will be concluding our live coverage. Live coverage, however, of the JAMSAT deployment will be available at www.ustream.tv/NASA-EDGE beginning at 2:06 a.m. Pacific Time. We'll leave you now with another look at tonight's successful liftoff of the NRO L39 mission. For more information, you can visit our website at www.ulalaunch.com. I'm Matt Donovan, and for the entire launch team, thank you for joining us and have a great night. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Well, you have RD-180 ignition and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket carrying the NROL L-39 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
RD-180 engine operation looks very good. Booster PU is in control.
You are hearing the voice of Marty Malinowski providing launch vehicle ascent data.